The noise is dance. Brilliant. Thanks very much, guys. What a great start to the stream. Welcome to another Grounded Tech Talk. It's episode 5. Good afternoon. We've had a lot going on today already. We've had the Xperia event. I had the idea of actually playing the Xperia event on the stream. We can sort of watch through it, and as they sort of go through all the different features and new additions, that we could just sort of talk about it as we go. We have a little bit of googly stuff coming today as well with Google I/O, which we should see. We should hopefully see the Pixel 6a being shown off, which I'm quite excited about actually. Mr. Lord, welcome in. We are restreaming to YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. But yeah, we're mostly on YouTube. We're mostly on YouTube, guys. So you can jump across to the Grounded Tech YouTube if you're not already. Be good to get you in the chat there. Has anybody watched the Xperia event? As in like the actual announcement, not necessarily the videos that people have made since then. Got my cup of tea ready. I've got a heart of gold, guys. Apparently. But I'm doing very well, thank you, guys. Apart from my annoying voice, clearly. So, yeah, I think what we'll do is, to start off, we'll play through the actual event. I'll pop it on the stream in a sec, and yeah, some of you haven't seen it yet, so that's good. We can go through it, and we'll say what you think, and we'll sort of talk as we go. Sweetest moon. Empty box. You've got to build the phone yourself. That's the way, right? That is the way. It is the way. So, I'm gonna have to put some headphones on because I need to actually listen to this myself. Genius level plays right now. Genius level. Typical Yorkshireman drinking his brew. Hey, mate. The brew's needed. The brew's needed. I'm assuming there's no audio right now. There we go. If you need the volume up on the video, let me know, but I can always turn my voice down a little bit.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for Xperia new product launch. Today, we are
get into that, Adam, don't worry.
Sony's virtual production
TNC, welcome in. David.
Tokyo. With
Hope you're all doing
restriction
well.
on the gathering and movement of people, virtual production technology, which is not bound by time and location, is becoming essential. This solution is the embodiment of Sony's vision of getting
no worries,
closer
sweetest
to
moon, no worries.
creators, based on our purpose
All
to
right,
fill the
David.
world
Yeah,
with
all good, man.
emotion through the power
All good.
of creativity and technology. A few months ago, a short film called Killian
Just having your
Film
daily
was produced
morning
at this
meltdown at
studio
DT. That's not good,
as
mate.
one of Sony's entertainment and technology initiatives, and our Xperia team played an important role. Transcending time zones and national borders, creators in Japan and the US made the film together. They
Let's just skip a bit. Let's skip a bit, because this initial bit's not really a
Xperia Pro
lot.
I, which we announced
So we've got
last
this
autumn,
bit.
has zero plastic in its packaging. The
All good,
Xperia
sweetest moon.
we are announcing today build on this industry-leading initiative. Not only is there zero plastic in the packaging, there is about 50% less packaging than before.
Because you get less,
This
guys.
reduces
Remember that.
the shipping weight, which reduces the CO2 by up to 36% per unit during transportation.
So, just to be clear, for those that don't realize that means no charger in the box. And in fact, from what I've seen of the people that have received their Xperia 1.4s, the pre-production models, you don't get a cable either. So it's literally just the phone. And it is an excuse. Let's be clear. We've seen already from Apple that they've made a lot more money from this. Now you could say, well, yeah, sure, but you know, it helps the environment. But you're getting less for your money. The stuff that you pay for, you know? I don't know what, I mean, there's been no mention of charging speeds on this Xperia. I'm kind of I've not seen anybody mention it in videos so far. At least I don't think I have if I was paying attention. I don't know if it's 45 watt or what yet, but either way, you're likely to need a charger, right? If you bought an Xperia from a couple of years ago, say you've got an Xperia, you know, Mark II series, or older, you're going to want a charger that is sufficient to charge your new phone at the correct speed. And not forgetting that if you're somebody who is using the phone in HS power control when you're playing games or doing something else with the phone with the cameras, you need to be supplying the phone with enough juice, otherwise the battery is still going to be used. And you're still going to lose more of the battery percentage as you go, when actually you want to try and keep it topped up as much as possible. And obviously that helps battery life, battery health and that as well. So I kind of feel that's sort of going against their mantra of wanting to provide you know, a set experience, professional experience, whatever. You want the device to work as intended. And I don't think not including the charger in the box at the correct wattage is not going to help that, is it? It's just not. Let me buy a charger and cable that is shipped separately and pack it separately, then driven separately. Yeah, environment. Exactly that. You think 30 watt? I would have liked a bump on the charging speeds, but even at 30 watt, I still need a new charger. Fast charging 30 watt, 50% in 30 minutes advertised according to GSM Arena. Fair enough. One reviewer said it came with the charger on his notes. Can't remember who it was now. Yeah, I haven't seen anybody with a charger in the box. But shall we continue? I think we're all in agreement that we want a charger in the box because we want to be able to charge our phones at the correct speed. Correct? They're only doing this because it makes them money, right? And they use it with the, you know, the environmental thing. Sure, it helps, but that's not why they're doing it. That's what they're telling us, because they care about the environment. We can get into that some other time. I've got topics planned for videos and streams and stuff in future to do with that. I will want to get into that in more depth. But for now, leave it and carry on.
We develop Xperia products based on our vision.
65!
Experiences beyond imagination. For the
yeah, exactly, Neil. Well, the
and
Pixel 6
passionate.
Pro can barely do any better anyway.
The Xperia Pro I has been very well received by imaging enthusiasts. To help them
Can you hear me okay
engage
over the
with
video?
world by sharing their story in real time, regardless of time and location. Both the Xperia Pro I and the Xperia Pro
Sound.
will feature the long-awaited video live streaming, starting the Xperia Pro I.
See, this is good. This is good. Software update for live stream for the Pro I and the external monitor for Pro. What is it? Videographer Pro for Pro I. Like,
And the
makes it
Xperia
clear
Pro
as mud.
will feature the long-awaited video live streaming, starting this July.
See, I don't understand why that's not coming to the 1.3 and the 5.3 as well. I don't understand. Like, the external monitor thing, Adam, is something they've actually had for a little while now. I can't remember if I've even got it on this Xperia 5 II. Yeah, I do. So, external monitor app, even on the Xperia 5 II. That's something that's been around for a while. But they're allowing you to use that with live streaming and stuff as well, which is really cool because, you know, hook up your phone while you're out and about. Hook up your phone to a, let's say, Sony, what, Alpha A4? What the hell is it? I've lost all my words. A7, S4, whatever the fuck it is. I don't know cameras. Let's go ZV-E10. Something like that with a much nicer lens on it. Hook it up to your phone. You can use it as a broadcast station while you're out and about. Brilliant. Sorted. It's really handy to have that. And actually, they're introducing the live streaming with the new phone as well. Straight to YouTube. I think there might be an option to do it to just a typical RTMP server. Then you could technically stream that anywhere if you wanted to. Wait, what? Drop me that APK. I don't think I installed an APK. I think it was just there on my phone. But it's very good for content creation. I like the external monitor. The vlog monitor is something that I would be very, very interested in because I intend to use it out and about. And it's very difficult to sort of know that you're sort of in the shot and everything. So I think that's very good. I actually hoped that they were going to bring that to this after they brought it with the Pro I. So yeah, the live streaming feature I think is really, really cool. And you could also broadcast gaming as well. I think they get into that a little bit later, but gaming streams on YouTube straight from your phone. Plugged into the charger that you have to buy with HS power control. That'd be good.
At Sony, creativity has no limits. Our flagship Xperia 1 series embodies this philosophy. Xperia inspires users to become creators.
Yeah, it's just
and this democratizes.
Just called external monitor.
To accelerate this, we are delivering innovative technology to maximize the creativity of our communities of interest.
So, worth noting there that these are the kinds of people that Sony are aiming their phones at. They're not the kind of people that a Samsung or an iPhone is aimed at. And everybody, you get a lot of coverage on Xperia that is compared to what those users want, the iPhone users, Samsung users. It's a totally different feature set. People have different wants and needs. You got to buy something that actually suits your needs. You know, like, this is why I don't like the S22 Ultra being, it's a Note 22 Ultra, being called an S22 because it's not of that same family at all. It's a completely different kind of device. It's a Note, you know? So, yeah, these are the kinds of people that Sony are aiming their phones at. And that's why they're going hard on this stuff. And yeah, they're expensive, but they do things that other phones don't.
Which are people who love
sold to the man with no money. Indeed, so, Simon. How you doing, bud?
For all of you content creators bringing your stories to life, we offer you the ultimate speed performance in
exactly,
every
Aditya.
lens from the industry-leading alpha mirrorless camera. With our world-first technologies, you can cinematize your daily life and even live stream what is happening right in front of your eyes. For all of you music creators, Xperia has always paid great attention to sound quality. But this new model isn't just for listening to music. It's for creating music.
Crazy, right?
When inspiration strikes, no matter where you are, your location is transformed.
Getting what you paid for.
Studio. Just record and upload your creation to the cloud on the spot. And the sound is brilliant. And for all of you gaming streamers,
hell yes.
Imagine this. you can now easily live stream your best gameplay to the entire world with Game Enhancer.
I think that's my old gaming headset right there.
When we created this Xperia, that is
like the Razer Black Shark V2 Pros, man.
To capture and to share your creative inspiration
headphone jack for me.
with the world. What do you need? You need speed.
Yeah.
Actually, speed is everything. And now, I present to you the Xperia 1 Mark IV.
Here we go then. Speed is everything. Not in all circumstances, people. But in many. I like this tune. It's good. It's getting me going. (120 FPS readout speed on all sensors). Woo. Nice battery upgrade. I'm unsure on this Gorilla Glass Victus at the minute. Those colours are nice. Where are you? Them colours. I'm liking the white. Do you think Sony will keep this design for the Mark V next year on, or change it, keeping the same form factor? I think they're going to keep it pretty close, because they seem to have gone for a design that they feel is the most practical. And the whole point of this is that it's utilitarian. It's functional. That's what they're going for. So if they did decide to change it, it would be because they find a different design to be more functional. And at the minute, I don't really see there being another design that is more functional than this. Maybe the camera housing changes or something, or ends up being positioned differently. I'm not sure. But I don't see it changing. I don't see it changing very much. What sort of dollar is one of these? What are they about? What are they, $1,600 these? About 1,300 quid? I think I've seen $12.99 somewhere in terms of pounds. And by the way, if you pre-order in the UK, by the looks of things, I got a notification from Sony themselves, from the Sony support on my Xperia. It's they're giving the XM4s with a pre-order of this phone. I like the white. I do like that white, Adam. I'll take two. Money bags. Oh, I thought the screensaver was like that because it was going to be a foldable.
We have been developing Xperia together with creators.
It really does, Simon.
Let's hear from a few of these creators. What do they find most exciting about the Xperia 1 Mark IV? First up is Pierre Lambert, a professional content creator.
Ah.
Pierre, over to you.
The 5s have usually come a little bit later anyway. I think last year they announced them together.
I'm kind of a fast shooter in a way. I love to run around.
Giggity. That's what she said.
I love to be present with what's around me. So I try to capture what happens at that specific moment. That's perfect. The magic moment brings you emotion. You see the emotion and the viewer can feel it through the image. What surprised me the most about the Xperia 1 Mark IV is the ability to translate the feeling of shooting on a normal camera So the Alpha 1 is literally my favorite camera when I need the fast autofocus, when it needs to be locked in perfectly and
That
never lose my
autofocus is
subject.
fast.
The beautiful part with the Xperia 1 Mark IV is it was developed by the same
Even on the 5
engineers,
too.
which actually brought in that autofocus system, which is now in a camera that I can put in my pocket. I have 3 lenses now, 16, 24, and 85 to 125 millimeter. Now across the board from 16 to 125, I literally have the best autofocus possible. While I was shooting, I could actually tap on my subject and it would automatically track my subject. So that object tracking was key to making sure I was in focus all the time. And the cool thing is that once the subject got closer, it changed from the object straight to the eye of my subject. So the 85 to 125
it's the Mark IV.
zoom, which is truly optical, is kind of completely different from whatever you might have experienced before. Slow motion gives me an ability to share something differently to the viewer. You look at it and you're like, wow, I didn't know so much things.
I mean, how do you even pronounce Xperia?
What that person is jumping, what that person is on a bike. And all those tiny moments show you the beauty of this world that
I just wish I could do that
see with your naked eye. The 120 frames per second in HDR and in 4K across all those lenses, pretty incredible. You have everything packed into that tiny device. Seamless
pretty
zoom
crazy,
means
really.
having that range from 16 to 375 millimeter is that it feels as if you had a big optical lens in your hand with a great camera. It just adds a range not only in terms of focal length, but also in terms of creative possibilities. Another great aspect.
The 14 it is. It's a big upgrade. So it's worth just noting about that zoom lens. Like they've gone from the variable zoom from last year, which gave you like 2 focal lengths, and then like digital zoom in between and beyond. Whereas this one, they've actually managed to make an actual zoom lens for the first time in a smartphone, which is crazy good. And that means you can go, I think it's like, what is it, from 3 to 5x or something like that on this? But seamless all the way through. And then obviously you can go digital beyond that, but I think that's really impressive. And I think that'll be a very nice lens for portraits and stuff. It seems to be anyway.
Image stabilization with flawless eye, which really allows you to stay stable and lock onto your subject's face.
So Samsung have done well that they were cameras though, weren't they, mate? I mean, they were cameras. Right? They were definitely cameras. With like a phone stuck on. Yeah. So, but like what you would get, like what you would get with a zoom lens. So for instance, with my Sony camera here, me changing the zoom like this, that's all optical zoom, right? That is all optical zoom. Same principle with the Xperia there. It's the same sort of thing. Whereas when you've got the like the current Samsungs with like the 22 Ultra, I think you've got like multiple optical lenses. I can't remember if it's like a 3x and then like a 10x or something like that. But then the 3x to 10x is digital. So if you go between that, it's digital. Whereas with the Sony, you're getting like 3 to 5, but it's like it's all optical. So I think that'll give some very nice results actually. And I think it's the obviously it's not a massive zoom lens, but I think it'll be very, very useful to a lot of people. And it is a little bit thicker for the battery, yeah. But by the looks of it, it's ever so slight. Ever so slight.
In some environment, having a wider dynamic range available is key to capturing your scene. And for that, the real-time multi-frame HDR function really allows you to capture those rich videos, even in challenging environments.
That looks pretty nice.
Honestly, when we were shooting
If you're happy
action,
to edit
the
it
only way
afterwards.
I wouldn't have been able to capture it was by not pressing the button. With 20 frames per second, with auto exposure and autofocus calculating throughout your burst, it's really hard to miss the shot.
Beautiful.
And if you're vlogging, for example, you can actually use the optional vlog monitor to see yourself and use
I
the
want
main
that
camera.
so much.
At the end of the day, for me as a content creator, the most important is that I can rely on my tool no matter what kind of environment I'm in. And for that, the Sony Xperia 1 Mark IV is one of the best tools I can have in my pocket at all times.
And that's the view of professional content creator Pierre Lambert. Now let's take a look at the Xperia 1 Mark IV's impressive other camera features. There's high-speed performance and also
You can't see that behind my camera. Right there. See that? See that? Right there. 4K HDR 120 FPS on all camera lenses. Toe Tag, thank you for the sub, sir. That's it. That is insane. So I've actually been watching a lot of these Xperia videos today, and the usual suspects offered up some some quite funny remarks, and one of them in particular, I'm not going to name names obviously, but they said that the Xperia does 4K 120 FPS. They said, well, and they said most phones, or a lot of phones at this sort of range also do 4K 120 FPS. I was like, okay, which phones are they? Sony Xperia and OnePlus. That's it, right? I don't know of any others that do 4K 120. Anybody else? Anyone? If you want to add to that, if I need to be corrected, please just let me know. That'd be great. Yeah. So that was pretty. I mean, go for it. Adam, find one, tell me. If I don't know, I don't know. But Sony do 120 FPS 4K HDR. I don't remember any other phones doing it. So yeah, that was a very odd remark. Considering that this person was somebody that obviously uses iPhones and Samsungs a lot, as is usually the case. You'd think they'd know that those phones don't use 4K 120. But anyway. Hello, Barry Johnson, welcome in. We'll carry on. But 4K 120 across all lenses? How insane is that? How insane is that? That zoom lens with 4K 120 and getting that bokeh at the same time? Oh, that's going to be nice. That is going to be nice.
focus on every lens. Then live stream your video directly to video platform services.
Love it.
Using Videography Pro.
All good, Barry. Hope you're well, buddy.
And use Xperia 1 Mark IV as an external monitor for your alpha camera to live stream alpha content. The new front camera captures high quality images in low light conditions. And you can...
Nice upgrade on the front camera at last. We've been needing that for a while. And as Adam says in the chat there, the S20 does do 8K 24 FPS. Yeah, it doesn't interest me at all. 4K 120 is far better and far more useful than 8K 24 FPS. Who needs to use 8K? Anybody? Anybody actually use 8K on the phones if they've got it? I don't see anybody talking about it or using it, really. 4K 120 you can definitely use for a lot of things. The front camera does look a lot better. 4K 60 is far more than enough in my opinion. Yeah, but if you want to get some really nice super slow-mo stuff, 4K 120 is, oh, it's so good. It's so good. I mean, sure, most high-end, all high-end phones have got 4K 60, but 4K 120, it's very tasty. Yeah, it has, Simon, it has. And it's about time they updated it. From the images that I've seen from various videos, like TK's, I watched TK's earlier, and the front camera looks nice. It actually looks pretty good. It looks usable. Hey, Toe Tag's over on YouTube. Welcome, dude. So, that is actually, I mean, I'll be honest, since I got my Xperia 5 II back, which I got back around 4 months ago now, I haven't used the front-facing camera once. Not once. Because it's awful. And I have absolutely no use for it. If I was doing a video call or something, then yeah, sure, fine. But it's not usable for the most part. So I don't use it. I just use the rear sensors. I use the rear sensors anyway. I even did that on the Pixel 6. I think I used the front-facing camera on the Pixel 6 maybe in the first week that I got it, and then I only used the rear sensors. So yeah, if you're taking pictures and you can take it with the rear camera, why not? It's easy enough. It's easy enough.
Shoot selfies in 4K.
But it's still nice to have it if it looks good enough.
The dedicated shutter button enhances its usability, and
Definitely,
it's water
Neil.
resistant and protected against dust. Xperia 1 Mark IV changes the way you'll take and share videos and photos.
Yep.
An all-in-one device that accelerates your creativity and lets you share it with the world instantly.
Yeah, I watched all them, Simon. Yeah, they were good videos.
And for you music creators, we're proud to announce the brand new Music Pro.
This is pretty cool.
It's the one and only music production function designed under the supervision
Just in
of
case I
Sony
break
Music
it.
sound engineers for studio quality recording.
It's more likely to scare you when you drop it. You know? So, studio tuning. This is looking really good. I'm really intrigued at how good these microphones are as well. I mean, Xperia seem to be pretty good on audio anyway, for the most part, compared to a lot of phones in the past. But so studio tuning is applicable only for vocal. Music recording, editing, and trial of studio tuning up to 100 megabytes within 1 month are free of charge. Studio tuning requires a paid subscription that costs $4.99 a month. The cost for monthly subscription and availability may differ depending on market. So, oh mate, Neil, I'm gonna be singing all the time, mate. Like this seems really impressive. Like, and I'm really intrigued, not just for singing purposes, but imagine. Hey, Devinard, how you doing, bud? Imagine using this for podcasting. Even if you're in an area that's, you know, you've got a bit of background noise, everything else, you can eliminate it. Apparently, you can eliminate background noise really well. But it'll show you more as we go through. Auto-tune deck. I'd need it. Pretty good. Recorded with Xperia, this. Yeah. Waves or just wind
ソニーミュー
noise.
ジックで音楽プロデューサーをやってます。 今回ミュージックプロの企画開発に関わらせていただきました。
I'll just remove this so you can actually see
デモ
the
テープみたいなもの、一番最初のアイディアに、が良くてですね、こういう録音スタジオで再現しようとした時にね、デモテープにも勝てないぞみたいなことも結構あってですね、ここで録音するものが、音質的には最高だけれどもチャンスとして最高かと言われるとそうでもないということが起こり得ると。でもしですね、
I do as well, Adam.
本当に今までメモだと思って録
I
音したもの
started
が
learning Japanese at one stage, but didn't carry on. I really should go back to it.
レコーディングクオリティになったとしたら、これは一種の革命が起こるんじゃないかなっていうふうに思ったんですね。もうまさに時間からの解放、場所からの解放っていうようなことが音楽に起こるんじゃないかなと。
モノンクルのボーカル吉田沙羅です。
I don't think they're on about it being studio grade, but the way that you can process it with the software makes it extremely usable.
っていう音とともに、あえて歌ったり、その音とかも全部ノイズ処理で後から消せるんですよね。
They erase the wind noise afterwards.
変わらずというか、むしろすごく綺麗に整えられて、スタジオで撮った音源だなって本当に聞いてて思って、それがまず超びっくりしました。こう、携帯を手で持つってことはものすごくその時点でもうノイズが乗るんですよね。カシャカシャって言ったり、こう指輪が当たっちゃったりとか、そういうのも全部消えるっていうのがちょっとすごくないってなりました。
モノンクルのベースの角田龍太です。
She seemed very genuine about that as well.
マイクの取り味がめちゃめちゃいい。さらにそこからスタジオチューニング機能っていうのを使ってノイズを切ったりだったりとか、あとはルームシミュレートができたりだったりとか、さらにスタジオクオリティの音質にしていけるというところが一つのすごい魅力だったと思います。あとは、僕は個人的にコンピング機能っていうのがすごくミソなのかなと思っていて、撮った音をパソコンに送ってDAW 上で作業するのではなくて、携帯の中でもう音楽を作ることが完結するっていうのが、大きなキーポイントなのかなと思いました。
Mononcool is very impressed by the Xperia One Mark IV's potential to
I think
extend
it's worth noting as well,
music creators' creativity.
it did say that up to 100 megabytes of use are free per month.
3.5mm audio jack ensures the high fidelity
Have to
sound
double check
with
that,
your
but
headphones. The full stage stereo
it
speakers
is,
produce
Matt.
more
Welcome in, mate.
powerful sound and reduced distortion. And the 360 reality audio
Lots of
surrounds
audio
you in
features.
sound through headphones or through the built-in
Exactly, Adam,
speakers.
yeah.
For an immersive sound experience, upmix the 2-channel stereo. You will get the full range of sound with dynamics
LDAC, high-res
and
audio,
detail.
wireless,
Enjoy
high-res
all your
audio,
music at close
all
to
the stuffs.
high-resolution audio quality with AI.
Mayhem.
And those who prefer wireless headphones, the Xperia
Indeed,
One
Mark,
Mark
indeed.
IV will later introduce Bluetooth LE audio, which ensures stable connection. Listening to
Bluetooth
music on
LE.
the Xperia One Mark IV is a joy. And creating music on the Xperia One Mark IV, it's a revolution.
So I do think, like, obviously you've got to look at an Xperia with the audio stuff as being far more feature packed than other phones, because it's got all of those Bluetooth codecs. You've got the headphone jack. You can use that for mic input. Earphones, IMs, whatever you want to use. It's great. It's absolutely fantastic. I've been using mine with my IEMs that I got quite often, and it's handy to have. And then also, I mean, you can see behind me, I got this bad boy, which concept creator sent me, this mic here on a tripod. My phone's going to go on there, and then this is going to plug in. So I can use a mic like this quite easily, plugged into my phone, and get great sound. And I can also plug it into a charger if I want. Bang on HS power control. Doesn't use any battery or barely any while I'm streaming with it, and then I can carry on my day as normal without having to charge my phone again, or have the charger on at the same time like other phones would. There's a lot of things you can do. There's a lot of things you can do with an Xperia that other phones cannot do. unless you mess around with a bunch of things. But even then, you just can't. It's so useful, and not sure if professional will be limited to that. I think professionals would use a lot more than 100 megabytes on audio stuff. Definitely. Definitely. But we'll get on to game streamers. Yeah. Yep, sounds good, TNC. Sounds good. As long as it works, you know. That's the main thing. So game streamers. So this is an area that I will be using the phone for quite a bit. I've been wanting something like this for a while. I could do it with my 5.2 at some point as well, just to test it out some more beforehand, but I'm pretty sure this is going to be very useful for me. And let's get into it a bit.
After many years as a professional esports player and a creator of PUBG Mobile live streaming content,
PUBG!
I know that staying connected to my fans means more than bringing them great content. It means having the right technology. I'm Shifan, I've been playing mobile game and winning them my whole life. There's a whole community that
so
makes
versatile.
up the gaming and the streaming universe. Xperia 1 Mark IV is packed with play-to-win features that help me
hey, look,
keep
it's
my
using a
community
headphone jack.
engaged. Thank you for watching my videos, Stacy. I really appreciate it. Live streaming is quite complicated, having to use third-party tools, apps, and external hardware that never quite works right. Xperia can now seamlessly live stream from Game Enhancer. No third-party apps, tools, or anything to plug in or launch. I can now live stream as I play, sharing every move without anything else. Game Enhancer is my go-to, controlling, fine-tuning, and customizing all the gaming-related features. I can select my resolution and frame rate to optimize performance based on the environment I'm in. Plus, I've got additional customizations like different layout options and audio settings, all within a user-friendly interface. I can edit the title and the description of my streams. I can also enable the chat while gaming. I love seeing my fans' reaction and the encouragement they give me, all in real time. Yeah, I play the game every day and it's a fun way to game with everyone. But when I'm in the zone and really need to be immersed in my game, it's just a quick tap to hide the chat. Sony's engineers worked with my fellow gamers to find out what we need to deliver greater content easily to our communities. So now I have the streaming experience of a PC, but in my phone, and only Xperia can do it. Now it's so easy for all of us to share our content right on YouTube. This brings our mobile gaming community together even more, adding more fans streaming, chatting, interacting, and playing together. Whoa! Whether you're new to streaming or pro, Xperia just redefined what it means to go live.
And also worth noting that if you are a game streamer, you can be streaming for hours. So a lot of people that are actually doing game streaming will want to hook up their phone to a capture card like they would a console or anything else. And being able to use that with an adapter plugged into a capture card and have your charging still work, and use HS Power Control again. I mean, HS Power Control, I keep banging on about it, but it is such a good feature, and it's a feature that every phone should have, in my opinion. I'm sure some of you will agree with that as well. But you can, I mean, I've used my Xperia 5.2 as a webcam for streams like this in the past, and I've streamed for like 4 or 5 hours, and then I've taken the phone off of the phone mount after the stream's finished, and I've lost like 1-2% of my battery over that entire time frame. And it's not charging the battery, you're not, you know, dissipating it at the same time. It bypasses that. You've not got that heat produced, which when you're gaming, the big deal. You don't want extra heat because then the SoC is going to throttle. So it's such a good feature. And if you are a content creator of some kind or a game streamer, mobile game streamer, it's going to be very, very good for you. So it's definitely worth keeping an eye on for that.
You can see that professional esports players know how to maximize the power of the Xperia 1 Mark IV. Now let's see how the Xperia 1 Mark IV helps you play to win.
Never play games on your phone?
Game Enhancer improves the gaming experience.
Not loads, but I'm
all the gaming settings.
There's more games coming out that actually are appealing to me on mobile, so I will end up playing more games and streaming them as well.
Superb. Adjust the color and brightness with low gamma razor so you see even the smallest changes before anyone else does. It has exceptional touch speed response and accuracy with a 240 Hz touch scanning rate. The audio equalizer minimizes unnecessary sounds and focuses on the ones that matter. When voice chatting, a headset for the best sound quality. Make sure you never miss your best gaming moments with RT Record. Prevent overheating while playing with heat suppression power control. If you play to win,
what you want.
The Xperia 1 Mark IV is the one for you. Xperia playing with.
And that's essentially what it does. That's a very good just diagram showing you what it's actually doing. It's bypassing the battery pretty much entirely. Well, entirely. And powering it from the charger instead of the battery like it would do normally. So if you're doing that on an iPhone or even a Samsung Galaxy where, you know, you'd think Samsung having DeX, they'd have something like HS Power Control because it'd be super useful for that. But they don't. On Sony, you do get that. And when you start using it, it's very difficult to sort of go back to not using it. Makes such a big difference.
Power control. If you play to win, the Xperia 1 Mark IV is the one for you.
Thank you very much, Pierre, Haino-san, Monoku, and Shifan. And now, for all of you, mobile gamers, I have exciting news. First, we know you don't just play, you play to win.
Damn right.
So, we are developing gaming gear, especially for the Xperia.
Hey. Hey. Look at this. Look at this bad boy. How about that? Active cooling, baby. Imagine that. Oh yes. Oh yes. Is HS Power Control auto-enabled? I don't believe so. Which is something I find very strange. It should be. It should be on games and things like that, definitely. But you can apply it to all games, I think. As you can apply it as your default setting. But you have to manually engage it, I think. From what I remember from my Xperia 5 II and setting that up. Well, this looks fantastic. Now, I sometimes struggle just like holding a phone and playing on it because, especially with an Xperia, because it's so narrow. So, having something like that where you can actually grip the sides properly. Doesn't look like it's got any triggers, which is kind of disappointing. I think triggers would be useful, or at least let us use the shutter, because it's two-stage, use that as a trigger, and maybe even like the volume keys or something. That'd probably work. But active cooling, that's going to be very useful. That's something that I will definitely look to pick up, because I'd be intrigued to see what kind of difference it makes. Especially on games like PUBG, when you're on like the ultra settings and Genshin, things like that. See how it actually affects the frame rate. Could be pretty impressive.
That boosts your performance throughout your gameplay and live streaming without time limitations. Professional players are testing prototypes now, and we hope to deliver this to you in the autumn.
Autumn.
I promise it will be worth the wait. And second, Xperia has been chosen as the official device for both PUBG Mobile Global
PUBG
Championship
Mobile.
and PUBG Mobile
PUBG?
Japan League Season 2.
I'm gonna have to pronounce it like that forever now.
We are very excited for both events. Now, the backbone of the performance that the Xperia 1 Mark IV offers, including gaming performance, is the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 mobile platform. Here to tell you more
Toasty
is
boy.
Alex Katuzian.
I know a lot of people were saying that or at least the rumors were saying that it was going to be a Gen 1 Plus. We can skip this anyway. We know enough about 8 Gen 1 at this point. The PUBGs. Ah, yes. PUBG.
The Xperia 1 Mark IV packs
cheers, shiny lad.
long-lasting 5,000 mAh battery.
5,000 milliampere battery.
So you can freely enjoy
and shiny with another sub.
For creators without
mate. 36 months. That's oh shit! You've hit 3 years.
The Xperia 1 Mark IV creators can instantly share their inspirations.
Thank you, man.
Across the globe. The Xperia 1 Mark IV comes in black,
which color?
ice white, and purple.
Yeah, active color looks amazing.
Style cover as well.
Gucci.
They will be available.
Style cover as usual.
This month.
Not my kind of thing.
I also have a new mid-range model to introduce to you
hello.
today. It's the world's lightest 5G smartphone.
Lightest.
5,000 mAh battery. The Xperia 10 Mark IV. Let's take a look.
So I got a 1 Mark IV and a 10 Mark IV, but no 5 Mark IV. That colour is just perfect, by the way. Like, I want a 1.4 in that colour. Give me a 1.4 in that colour. 5,000 mAh battery. There's a few things to say here about this. So, this here on the left, I mean the chat's blocking it, but it says Superior Auto. Just shoot, no settings needed. Night Portrait. Do you see where I'm going with this? No settings needed. Backlight portrait. Super resolution zoom. Sharpen faces with the AI. Improved auto HDR. What? Well, yeah, this is the 10.4 though. So night mode. Night mode. So this is the thing, right? If they have these modes, right? If they have these modes, and these things are the things that are missing from the 1 Mark IV and the 5 Mark IV that all these reviewers complain about, right? Why don't they include it? Even if it's an optional thing. But I don't quite understand. I get that this is the normie phone. But not everybody using a 1.4 or a 5.4 is using manual controls for photos. I don't a lot of the time. I use auto for a lot of stuff. But then why would you not want it as an option? Do you see what I mean? That doesn't make sense to me. I really think that these sorts of features should be on the other phones. I don't think they will. Because I kind of feel like if they were going to do that, if they'd have included it with the phone to begin with, maybe then we wouldn't have all these reviewers absolutely ragging on it. Well, that's just me. That's just me. I kind of feel like that's something that they really should be... They really should be including with the top tier phones. I actually feel like I want to get hold of an Xperia 10.4 just to compare these things. Optical steady shot. What was that? Sorry. Don't know. I mean, for as a pro, more of a prosumer phone that doesn't necessarily need the auto features when I could do it myself easier. Yeah, but the thing is as well, though, mate. Like, as you well know, not every shot gives you the time to dial in manual settings. Sometimes an auto mode can be a lot better. If I take a shot with the Pixel 6 on a nighttime, say like we're out with friends and things, and you want to get a quick shot in a social situation, a Pixel is going to look far better generally 90% of the time compared to an auto shot from an Xperia. You haven't got time to dial in manual settings and things for that sort of stuff, in my opinion. And I get what you're saying, because I agree. But I just think these things, if they could be included, if they've got the software there and they're using it on other phones, why not include it? Oh, I love that color, man. I love that color.
The Xperia 10 Mark IV comes in 4 colors: mint, lavender, white, and black. And there is a style cover too.
The white's nice.
They will be available from this summer. I hope you are as
TNC 5 series most likely using SLC Gen 7 Gen 1. That'd be a good shout.
As we are. 5G is fast becoming a social infrastructure that enables new customer experiences by connecting not only people to people,
I think that's about it,
but
really.
also people to things. Sony's technological direction draws on 3 R's: reality,
3 R's.
real time, and remote. With these 3 R's, we are transcending the traditional frameworks used in fields such as movies, sports, and mobility.
Ooh, fancy.
Xperia is at the heart of Sony Group's network communication technology. We will continue to innovate as the ultimate platform for creators. Thank you for joining us today. Stay safe.
Stay safe, guys.
For unmissable moments, Sony.
So that's that, basically. 3 hours, that's not a lot of battery life. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that's totally fine for a 10.4. I mean, it is basically the entry offering, but it's more of a sort of a mid-range sort of phone. Sony aren't really doing budget offerings these days. I think the 10.3 started at like 400, like £399, £399, which, you know, there's quite a lot of competition in that sort of area. And today, by the looks of it, we will have the Pixel 6a being announced at Google I/O. So, I mean that's likely to be around the same price. So that, you know, if you're comparing like a Sony to a Pixel at that price range for a lot of people, it's going to be difficult because obviously we don't know a lot about the 6A just yet. I don't think there's really been many leaks on it. States on there around €500, yeah. So it'll probably be maybe 450. Yeah, it would. Definitely. Definitely. Because the Pixel, yeah. It's a pricey boy, Adam. It's a pricey boy. The 1.4 is a pricey boy. Why you usually have the 5 as the sort of cheaper and smaller option, but with the same sort of specs. So the 5.2, this has the same cameras as the 1.2. You just not got the time of flight sensor. It's smaller, 1080p screen, not 4K, but it's still 120 hertz. Still very, very nice. Battery size is the same. So, you know, you could get better battery life out of the 5 series than you do the 1 series a lot of the time. But, yeah, it's interesting that they've not announced the 5 yet. It's very interesting they've not announced the 5 yet. I think the pound's value's dropped quite a bit recently. There might be something to do with that. But we'll have to see where it is. We'll have to see what it's like when it's when they announce prices properly. I imagine they'll be up today somewhere. Maybe some sites will have it to pre-order. As I say, if you pre-order, you get those Sony XM4s, which you might be able to sell for about 150, 200 quid. I don't know. I don't know what they go for these days, but you'd be able to knock a couple of hundred off there, potentially. You want to see the 1 Mark IV with an even bigger screen? Yeah, it might be a D2, but you've got to take into account like VAT and stuff as well. How much bigger of a screen would you want, Simon? I think it's a pretty big. Well, 1 Mark Fold. I don't know. Oh, really? $12.99. I think that's about the same. Was the 6.7, 6.8? Yeah. I think the aspect ratio is the problem with it, because as you go up in the size, obviously it's going to get a lot taller. If you think of like I don't know what size the 13 Pro Max is, but it seems to be just as tall as that. 429. That's not bad. That's a slight increase over the last one, so that's not bad at all. I think I'd be quite happy with 6.5. I mean, the 5.2 is pretty compact. I mean, it's what, 6.1? Pixel 6 that I had was 6.4 or 6.3. I can't remember. Maybe 6.4. And that was a pretty nice size. A misshapen Cadbury, yeah. So I think the price is about right, Ibrahim. I think it's about right. I hope you're doing well, man. I think the Xperia 1.3 was like $11.99. Yeah, 6.4. I thought it was. I always get confused because I compare it to like Pixel 4 XL. I think that might have been 6.3. for them with the bigger forehead. So yeah, I think the price is fine. I mean, obviously we're seeing a lot of people on Twitter today already that are complaining about the price. But I think the price is fine for what it is, for what you get from the phone. I think it's totally fine. There's one reply I got that said, "Oh, it's already dead in the water for general consumers, or for the majority, you know, the normies." I was like, well, yeah, that's kind of the point. It's not for everyone. It's not meant to be. Yeah, I bet you would have, Deecher. Giggity. Yeah, I mean, how much is a Galaxy Note 22 Ultra? And also take into account the amount of storage. How much storage do you get on a 1 Mark IV? Phone muggles don't deserve good things. Right, so 22 Ultra with a 256 gig of storage is probably going to be about what Simon's saying. So what's the difference? Yeah. And now the Note 22 Ultra, does that only get 8 gigs of RAM? Get more RAM. More storage. More features. Sure, you don't have an S Pen, but you know, not everybody needs an S Pen. That again, that's deciding what's more important for you, whether you want a Samsung that has those features or whether you want a Sony that has a different feature set. You know, you got to work out what it is that you want. Same price. There we go. He's the head buyer for UK and Ireland for 3, who you was talking to, Dan. Who was? I'm not sure who I was talking to. I hope it's not the guy that was talking about that in that way, because that's the wrong person for the job. Let's put it that way, if that's the kind of statements they're going to make. Yeah, certain brands do, Neil. We had it with LG. LG were always misrepresented in YouTube videos and everything else. Sony's are pretty similar, but Sony are actually quite good in the fact that they actually supply their phones to people that know what they're on about as well now. And Pixel still gets slated for very, very strange reasons. I don't know. It was. My next phone will be a Nokia 3310, says Roger. Already got it, mate. Best phone I've ever had. Best phone I'll ever have. It's just, it's a tank. S22 Ultra is $12.49 for the 256 12GB variant, £50 cheaper. Exactly. That's fine. With the Sony, you're getting your micro SD, headphone jack, 4K screen. Bunch of things, right? That's the thing. Everybody sort of boils it down to the what's most popular. What's most popular? iPhones and Samsungs. All right, so every phone should be like them to sell. No. That's not how these things work. It's not how tech works, full stop. Yeah. You'd love Realme to make a foldable. I think they probably will at some point. Yeah, there's that as well. You get the Exynos here. LG marketing was bad. Like there is blame to spread over there. Bad tech taste, share lack of marketing paired with surprise lack of confidence in their own products is what killed LG. Yeah, LG didn't have any clear direction. That's the problem. They still made good phones, but they didn't have any clear direction. And the marketing wasn't clear. The user base, it wasn't clear to the user base what they were offering. Sony are making it very clear what they are offering. They're doing very, very well with it now. And people will say, well, Sony aren't marketing their phones. They're marketing their phones to the right people. But when people say, oh, they're not marketing their phones, they're like, what they mean is, I'm not seeing any TV ads or billboards or just magazine ads and newspaper ads and all these sorts of things. Yeah, but they're not trying to appeal to those people. You know? Why would they spend all that money on advertising? There's no reason to. Adam says, the problem I feel is most YouTubers, especially the iSheep, always say you can have an iPhone or a Samsung, where it should be you can have an iPhone or an Android phone. This generalization of Android is Samsung by social media has made it just, yeah. Why are you getting a Sony or Oppo, for instance, get a Samsung? That's a proper yeah, I know. I know. I get you. Dr. Derpy, pee pee poo poo, check how we doing. Check. People see the brand name and then buy a phone like Apple and Samsung, doesn't matter what specs or anything. Yeah. Well, that's because people just buy... A lot of people generally buy what's recommended to them by people in a shop, people that they know, that people tend to recommend what they have because they don't actually know anything about anything else. If you're actually into tech and phones and you're able to look at phones for what they are, what they offer, and you can recommend based on that, fantastic. That's great. I mean, I'm not a fan of Samsung in general. I'm not a fan of iPhones in general. But I still recommend those phones to certain people because they're more practical for what they do or what they need. So, it shouldn't be about what you prefer. It should be about what you actually think is more practical for the person you're recommending it to. Ibrahim, yeah, we've mentioned that. The XM4s for free. It's not bad. I was kind of hoping that they'd include that vlog monitor or something, just even though that's just probably a bit more pricey, but I was really hoping they'd include that with the tripod thing. Imagine that as a bonus. Whew, that would have been good. Sony are not just doubling, but quadrupling down on their target audience. I love their character. Yeah, man. I love that they're doing that. I love that they're doing that. They're not following trends. They are doing their own thing. They're not bumping up the cameras with massive megapixel counts. They're not trying to do 100 times space zoom or other universe zoom with 1,000 times or something like that. Like they're focusing on what they think is the correct approach to a phone camera and whatever else. And I love it. I love that. I love things that are different and don't actually just try and appeal to the widest number of consumers. I hate it when they try and do that, be it with phones or games or anything. Know what I need in a phone? A crisp, clear, and don't give two hoots about what a paid network phone retailer has to sell me. Yeah. Most reviewers are really just average consumers. It's true. True. But I think as well, most reviewers, especially more popular reviewers, they know what appeals to most people. Now, I was watching a video earlier, and said reviewer said that, I could do a camera comparison of the One Mark IV, but I don't have a lot of time. I'm busy. Now, and he said it as if people want to see it, but I am busy with a lot of things. Now, what that means is that I don't necessarily think that I'm going to get the return on this phone in terms of the time that I would spend on it because it's not popular enough. Sure, that's fine. If you want to, you know, focus on it. But then the people will say that they don't have a bias in any way. But clearly they have a bias to certain brands because they make them the most money. You know, as long as they're upfront about that, I don't care. You know, you can have a channel that's like, you know, focused on Samsung or whatever else. But it bugs me when people take that approach. I remember a good while ago, fair few years now, going into Car Phone Warehouse and out of curiosity asked about recommendations for a new phone. The guy instantly asked about my preferences of iOS or Samsung. And I said Android, not Samsung. He then tried hard to sell me the latest Samsung at the time. When I asked about OnePlus or Oppo or even Motorola, he had zero idea what I was on about. Yeah. Because he didn't have a clue. He was just doing a job with no actual knowledge of what he was selling. Which is the case quite often is the case. They don't know what they're selling. Difference is most average consumers don't get $3,000 foldables before launch for free. Yeah. But then a lot of time, you know, you've seen channels that have received the Duo 2, for instance. The Duo 2 has a lot of uses and has some true multitasking capabilities that other phones don't have. Yet they seem to think that that was not enough. It's a very specific use case. Sure, certain Sammy boys had a burst aneurysm seeing a 12 megapixel camera. Mate, and you know that that's something that they will mention, right? Oh, it's still only got a 12 megapixel camera. And Samsung apparently have a 200 megapixel camera coming for next year's Ultra. So it does get very frustrating. Andy, Mr. Tree, hey mate, I have an iPhone but don't use it to its capabilities. I literally know nothing nowadays about phones. Always interested to hear what you guys have to say. Well, that's the thing is that you want to you need to get, and this is the thing, if you go and buy a phone, they'll tend to recommend you to the highest possible spec phone because it gives them the most money. For instance, my other half's dad, he had a Huawei P20. Now, this is a man who doesn't really use the cameras on his phone. Browses Facebook and reads the news. Messages, emails, that's it. That's it. He went to get a new phone. Now, going from a Huawei P20, if I was going to get a new phone and you wanted a Samsung, which is fine, I would have recommended to him a Samsung A53. That's what I would have recommended to him. At most, an A53. That's as high as I would have gone. He ended up with an S22 Plus. They even recommended the 22 Ultra to him. Right? This for a man who wouldn't have the first clue about using any of those features whatsoever. Even with 22 Plus, it's far beyond his capabilities. But that's what they recommended to him. That's what he's gone for. It's a total waste of money. Total waste of money. So that's what frustrates me about these things, is that they never recommend what is suitable to the person buying the phone. They just don't. Like Andy, like you say, you don't use the iPhone to its full capabilities. What I would say to somebody like you is, if you were buying a new phone in future, is not to get a new phone. Get an iPhone from a couple of years ago. Save yourself about 50% of the cost, maybe more, and still be able to use that phone for about another 3-4 years if you really wanted to. I've missed a lot of chat here. Most reviewers have sacrificed integrity in order to ensure sustained viewership by appealing to the most general audience possible. That's the problem with the platform based on watch time. Yeah, exactly. And you can see that all the time. He was trained to simply sell iPhones or Samsung phones. Yep. Saying that, I remember going to Curry's PC World and hearing some guy try to sell someone a Nikon camera when the consumer wanted to do primarily do video. Me being a Sony user instantly pulled my DSLR out and walked over, offered it to the consumer to try it in front of the staff member, and the consumer then wanted a Sony. Staff member had zero knowledge of Sony's lineup despite being a camera expert. Yep. So a lot of the time, people in these stores will be like ambassadors for a certain brand, and they'll try and sell certain brands, and they'll get a bonus depending on what they sell. And they'll have their training mostly around those products, and then they'll tend to only really know about those products and not really much else. So then when you want to look at something else, they don't really know what to say. No, the Duo 2 has a poor return on time invested as far as view times and engagement is concerned. Again, if YouTube had fixed salaries instead of watch time based payment, this wouldn't be an issue. Yeah, I agree. I like the Duo fantastic engineering, but reviewers would have you believe it was battering orphans. Yeah. Or we remove monetization from the platform entirely. I mean, that wouldn't work, would it? Because, that'd just basically kill the platform, really. That's the kind of consumer I'd sell an iPhone SE to if they were so inclined. Yeah, I mean, her dad wanted a fairly big phone still anyway. He likes a big screen. But an A series would have been totally fine. Just totally fine. Ibrahim, my mum is the same. Got her the A52 5G last year for just £100. That's great. After trading in the SA just a few weeks after release. She only uses it for WhatsApp and watching YouTube. There you go. Mr. Tree, I literally use my phone to text, read the news, and a bit of social media. That's about it. Exactly, Andy. I mean, you could... I don't know what phone you're using right now. But if I was recommending, say, to somebody who was still running an iPhone 8... and they were quite happy with it, but it was aging a bit and they wanted to replace it with a new iPhone. Instead of getting a new iPhone, I would say buy an iPhone 11 or an iPhone 11 Pro. Because they're super cheap, they're still fantastic, and it'd still be a big upgrade. And they'll still be supported for years. I tell all my elderly relatives to get the red hydrogen one. Simon, I like your style, man. I like your style. Look, a Nikon is good and blah blah, but what about the Sony employer sausages? Yes. Went into a Jessup's once, talked to a Sony expert. That short nip into the store turned into 3 hours of talking and trying lenses on an A7 at the time. Jessup's tended to have people that were quite knowledgeable, though. You know? Her Ibrahim, her A52 5G has a Snapdragon 750G chipset, 6GB RAM, 128GB of internal storage, plus micro SD, 3.5mm jack, a bargain. Yeah. And going from an SA, I mean, performance probably would have been slightly better on the S8. Obviously, there's no support for it anymore, so an A52 is going to be good for a couple of years. Mostly Canon and Sony. Yeah, I don't think Nikon tend to do as much as they used to. I think on the really high-end stuff they still do well, but I think Nikon was struggling money-wise recently. Save time and money. Keep your phone. Head over the calf. Have yourself a bacon sandwich and a coffee. Treat yourself. 11 Pro Max. Right. But that phone's going to last you ages, Andy. Genuinely. Like, that phone will last you ages. Would I upgrade an 11 Pro Max right now? If that's all I was doing? Hell no. Not a chance in hell. It's such a good phone. Such a good phone. I had a standard iPhone 11. It was fantastic. And all I got from people was, oh, it's a 720p screen. It's LCD. Meh. I know the Pro Max isn't, but, you know. Just wanted to share that. Screen was great, by the way. It looked perfectly fine. I mean, I assume, Andy, if you had an 11 Pro Max, that you're either due for an upgrade or whatever. But I'd stick with it. An 11 Pro Max for another two, even 3 years. Just get the battery replaced if it starts to degrade a bit and you're not getting the battery life out of it that you want. I bet you would, Matt. I feel sorry for you, dude, having to get rid of that Oppo Find X5 Pro. Very tasty phone. You are actually in 2 months. Yeah. Honestly, Andy, stick with it. Get a SIM-only deal. Save yourself a bunch of money. Done. Unless you really felt you needed 5G, which I don't think you will, just stick with it. It'll save you a ton of money. If there were no import taxes involved, I'd send you my G7 with battery case. Boom. So, we've spoken a lot about Sony, and we've even spoken a lot about Samsung and things as well. What do we think about Google I/O? I haven't really looked into what they're expected to talk about. I know people are hoping that we see the Pixel Watch, but I don't know. The Pixel 6a sounds like it's probably going to get its reveal. Or at least I hope it is. Because it's about time we had a Pixel 6a. Yeah, I can see the Pixel Watch coming later. Well, the 6a is likely to be very similar design-wise. I'm assuming it's going to have some sort of plastic build to it. Will it have Tensor? Will it have Tensor? Will it be the same Tensor as in the Pixel 6? Or will it be slightly downclocked or cut down or something? I don't know. Kind of feel like it'd still be pretty cheap to stick that in a 6a, even the full version of it. And then obviously go back to the camera stack of what the 5a had. Just the 12 megapixel sensors. And ultra wide. Big battery. Still probably a 60 Hz screen. Primitive Cortana model. Would like to see where Wear OS is headed. Yeah, I mean, I've got the Galaxy Watch 4. This bad boy. Which I've enjoyed using. I've got some videos coming up for that this week and next week, actually. Lots to be doing. Lots. But, yeah, the thing for me at the minute is the 6a being... It's the price. And I was talking to Neil about this earlier. We were talking on Telegram about it. And I'm assuming from previous A-series Pixels that it's going to be around sort of $399. That's the usually the price to go for. I mean, a couple of hundred less than a Pixel 6. kind of makes sense. But at the same time, the Pixel 6 can be picked up now for around 400, sometimes a little bit less. So, and there's some very good deals on contracts and things as well, where you can get a lot of money off. I mean, I think O2's got a really good deal on Pixel 6 at the moment. So, I kind of feel like $399 is too expensive. I think $349 would be acceptable. I think a Pixel 6 would be a much better buy when you can get them for you can get them for around the same price. I think it'd be, they need to start, in all honesty, I feel like they need to start releasing the A series at the same time as the main series phones. I would have actually liked them to have skipped the 6A altogether and launched a 7A alongside the Pixel 7s in October. Hey, Adji, welcome in, mate. Yeah, I think 90 hertz. And it had tensor. I mean, what would be the differences then? Obviously, you wouldn't have as big a sensor on the main cam. Build quality different. RAM would be less, probably. Storage is going to have to be the same. 128 minimum. So, hey, Greg, welcome in, bud. Good to see you. I just kind of feel like oh, good, Simon. Take care, bud. I just kind of feel like the 6A is probably going to be priced a bit too high. Or with the feature set you'll get from a standard 6 in comparison, I just feel like it's going to be the better option. I really do. I haven't seen many leaks about it. This, yeah, Pixel 6 is scattered around 449 from reputable sellers. So it's going to be interesting. I can imagine that if it releases at $399, that you might see some pretty decent discounts at some point. I think it'll drop pretty quick. Yeah, same cameras as 5A makes sense. It really does. Tensor definitely makes sense. And that's part of the reason why Pixel 6 and the 6 Pro were so cheap, is because Tensor was actually cheap to buy. But Ibrahim, that seems about right, I think, on specs. That's kind of what I'm expecting. You calling 349? I'd go with 349. I think I'm also at 349 in my head. Neil, my missus still uses the Pixel 3A. Maybe I can try and convert it to take the 6A. He likes the A series a lot. Lol. Plus, it's cheaper for me. I mean, maybe. It's worth a go, innit? But I kind of feel like a Pixel 6A is going to give you sort of 75% of what a Pixel 6 will offer. So I think it'll be really good. Well, the Pixel 4A launched at $349, didn't it? The original 4A. And you know, that is a cheap phone. I mean, I can imagine a 6A actually being more expensive than that, because it's going to be bigger, have a better SoC. It's difficult. It's difficult. Your wife is still using a Pixel 3a XL? Yeah, Greg. That's crazy, isn't it? They're still solid phones. 6A launches at $150 calling it now. Imagine the meltdown. Yeah, I think 399 is what it will actually launch at. 349 is what I feel would make sense. Just because at 399 I could buy a Pixel 6 for the same price. I sold my Pixel 6 for $400 with 3 cases and an Extreme Skins on it. You know? So it's gonna be a difficult one. It's gonna be a difficult sell that. I mean, it's still easy to recommend to a lot of people, but I just feel like the Pixel 6. And then wireless charging. Obviously, Pixel 6 has got wireless charging. That's another thing. My watch is telling me to get up and walk around. So yeah, I think it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. Matt's still using S7 Edge. I liked the S7 Edge when I had it, man. I mean, obviously, now it's not ideal. Especially smashed up as well. But you'll get something else soon enough, man. Is there anything anybody else wants to talk about in the tech space at the minute? Because I think we're getting to... What are we? An hour and 40 minutes at the moment. So if there's any other questions or if there's anything you want to talk about, let me know in the chat. Ibrahim, the Pixel does have exclusive features and most likely will come with 5-year security updates compared to rival solid. That is true. That is true. It's very that's something that we didn't talk about with the Xperia earlier. Is that my Xperia 5 II, it's got Android 12, it started on Android 10, it's done. As far as I know, it's done. So disappointing. Very disappointing. Because these phones, especially this with an 865 in it, obviously I'll still be able to use it. You can still use it. It just won't get updates. It's still getting security updates for now. But Sony need to be doing 3 years minimum. They need to. The phones are expensive. They can run, because they're so good on battery health, they can be used for longer. It makes sense to have longer software support. To be fair, it's actually making me use my phone less. It does, Matt. It does, which is a good thing, really. Adam, okay, a bit of a hot take. How much do you in the chat use Google Apple Pay? Well, I haven't had. At one stage I didn't have a bank account for a while, so I actually, before that I was using Google Pay quite a lot. I was using Google Pay quite a lot when I used to have an income. Razor Bring It Up, I've noticed I'm using it a lot more than ever at the moment. For instance, this morning I ordered train tickets via Google Pay on Trainline. The tickets are in my Google Pay app. Yeah, I've done that as well. I've done that before. Tend to now not even use my wallet 90% of the time. I use my phone to pay more and more now. Yeah. But then you also want the other stuff there as a backup just in case, don't you? Because there's always the times where your phone potentially doesn't work correctly, or if there's an issue with it. You know, what if the battery dies or your phone actually fails and you don't have the other stuff on you? You've got to still have that stuff with you, haven't you? I don't. My bank didn't support LG Pay. Go figure, eh? Neil, yeah, that software support is shocking from Sony, especially for the money. It really definitely needs to be 3 years plus, yeah. And that's something that I will harp on about all the time. I have no problem, you know, criticizing where it's deserved, you know? I don't use Apple Pay at all, says Adji. Ibrahim, just imagine the future if Google started to sell their SoC to the likes of Sony, with Google having control over the updates for both SoC and software. You never know, just a wild thought. I mean, potentially. As long as it offered the right features. I'm really interested for Pixel 7 this year because Tensor 2 should be quite an upgrade, I would think. As long as they don't try and go too crazy on power and stuff, which they didn't do for Tensor. The original Tensor, you know, it got a lot of stick originally. They've optimized it a lot. And my Pixel 6 actually ran beautifully. It ran so well. Battery life was fantastic. I genuinely couldn't complain about Tensor in any way. I think I got one warning. Heat warning. Overheating warning. When I was recording 4K. I was recording 4K 60 in direct sunlight. And it was pretty warm. 4 years minimum for security updates? Yep, I agree. 3 years OS, 4 on security is just minimum for me at the minute. That's what I think should be the minimum. I don't even have the Apple Pay app installed. I thought it was just installed by default. But yeah, I think we've probably time wise we've gone a bit longer than I I kind of expected to go. I thought we'd be on for about an hour and a half, but we've gone a bit longer than that. So I am going to try and make these. I'm going to try and make the Grounded Tech Talks a regular thing. I've said it before, but I feel like I really need to crack on and make it a regular thing. We're going to do another one next week, and I'm not sure if it's going to be Wednesday. I did it today because I just had the time, and the Xperia event sort of prompted that. But I feel like it might end up being a different day next week. I need to settle on a day and keep it as a regular occurrence, but I will sort that out. I'll let you know in the Discord if I do decide on a set day or anything. Mid to late week, yeah. That's what I'm trying to do. It won't be early in the week, I know that much. But Wednesday's not a bad day, but Friday nights, Saturday nights are also a possibility as well. I have a video coming this week. Probably 2 videos, actually. I've got a Pixel 6 and Pixel 4 XL video. That one is halfway edited at the minute. And that should be out. That should be out tomorrow. And I've also got a video that I'm recording on the Galaxy Watch. My first wearables video. That'll be out at the weekend. And I will have another video in conjunction with that on the Galaxy Watch for next week. Which is basically, it ties into the same thing, but yeah. So that's the plans at the minute. So I'll touch my okay. Wonderful. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, guys. Really appreciate it because we've not done this for a little while. I'll catch you in the Discord. Don't forget there's also the Ko-fi account there now, so if people want to support that way, they can do. That's actually going to be the only way you can get Discord access going forward. If you're not already in there. I know most of you guys are already in there anyway, but that's fine. So, yeah, take it easy. Stay grounded. I will see you all very, very soon. Bye. Bye-bye.